Hi everyone, thank you for joining me on my presentation for Management 535, Theory and Application for Managerial Communication. This is my assignment 6.3 concept presentation, and I'm going to be going over the last three modules, modules 4 through 6, which were the DICA model, performance feedback, change, and technology. There's all going to integrate throughout this assignment. I'm going to be not only incorporating these concepts into the modules from the recent modules that we did, but we're going to be integrating this into corporate communications in the workplace, specifically a corporate communication event that happened in my workplace. And the specific corporate event that I'm going to be addressing today is in the airplane, the recent communication that came to light was taking away water bottles in the workplace. People who brought it to our attention said the corporate didn't want water being distributed anymore, so if we want water, we have to get it in a cup. And this being shed to light was not taken in very well by all the individuals, and we're going to break it down to see exactly how it could have gone better if this was the right even thing to have done in the first place. I don't think they did much research before they even started to instill this. So yeah, let's get into it. First, we're going to start at looking at the DICA model, how this incorporates into this new communication about getting rid of the water. So DICA, breaking it down, being data, which is representation of reality, information, data that provides relevant clues or news, knowledge, the framework for the organization that relates between pieces of information, and then finally action, deeds or decisions made that's based off of the knowledge that you got based off the beginning of the model. If not done properly, it can lead to some detrimental outcomes. And even if it's approached the wrong way, you need to gather a certain amount of information to come up with that just right decision. And also, a lot of managers need to understand the differences between data, information, and knowledge. Not all the same thing. They each have their own step. That's why they each have their own character in the model. It's not for nothing. The goal of this model is to be most effective and efficient, gathering each thing, coming out with an accurate decision in a timely manner. It takes too long. It defeats the whole concept of it all. And when you do this, you're trying to make the best outcome for the company as far as finances and growth. As far as our company looking over the different factors with the water, I feel that the DICA model was not used efficiently, if not at all, being that data, information, knowledge, and action being that this was done in the past, and employees were not too happy, and because of that, they were delaying flights, which cost a lot more money than water bottles. And so on, delaying flights, putting the delay on crew going to get water, and just factors like that. And I feel like if the DICA model was used, and it's not just like we went over, it doesn't just end at date action. It's a recurring cycle. After data, information, knowledge, action, we go back to the circle to see if it's accurately for efficient change. I feel that if the DICA model was used, they would have redone the whole model from the past experiences and seen that they lost money, and it was evident that they did lose money because it was not even 2 days after putting delays on these water ordeals that it was canceled. And foregoing. I think just new management comes into position, forget not knowing, maybe lack of communication of things that were tried in the past, and same thing, tried to incorporate this new ways of like how do we cut back on costs, we can do this, do that, and this new management they didn't maybe not receive communication word on how this was done in the past, and not very effective or efficient, and just waste of time. And yeah, I think that the constant cycle of like as we talked about earlier is very important to keep, to make sure that the right decision was actually instilled for betterment of the company itself. Going into the communication of change to have people supportive along the way. Um, as far as Clampett talks about resistance to change, it's easier when you have um, people along the way, so you can explain what's ongoing, the ongoing process, and have it easier for them to be supportive with the decision that's coming out in the future. Um, he lays out certain questions, and they basically answer themselves when you're included in each decision being made, and processes down the line, such as what the decision is, how the decision was made, why the decision was made, and how the decision fits into the organization's mission and vision. I feel that none of these questions were laid out or even pointed out that they were even trying to be answered along the way. It was just one day, oh, this is what's going to happen. And as we looked about in all of Clampett's work, it's like the one way to get resistance to change is not incorporating people, not including them in these decisions, the process of the decision, and due to the fact that people were involved is just a reason, another reason to add to the fact of why it's not going to work out, and it's very important to include people. It makes them feel important. It makes them feel that they're part of the company, and they are part of the company. It makes them feel special, and I guess a proper word to be wanted, and shown their importance there. So just looking at the performance feedback, you can see that the day after they're implementing this, that they're canceling it, it's negative on their performance. With their actions based on the NICA model, if they're even using the NICA model, what they're deciding to implement, it's just going downhill, and it's clear based off their so like expedient means to turn it around and undo what they did. That it makes you question: was there even thought put into this? Where did this come from? And yeah, and also going back into people being left out, um, such as in the whole communication aspect, we look into computer mediated communication, and it's just there's no reason with the technology we have today to have everybody involved and to use technology to best involve everyone. As we talked about in module 4.2, how computer mediated communication can do divide, combine, connect, and even separate if not done right. But if used to the advantage, it can do all the positives. It can combine, it can connect instead of divide and separate. And I feel like if they use this CMC, combine and connect, even after the point where employees are not very happy, they can use this technology to let them know what's going on. Where did this come from? What how are they going to change what's happening from now on to show the employee that they're valued. So being where we're at, I feel like even with CMC, you can't use too much. It's like everything too much, I feel like can be negative, can be detrimental. Um, you need that level of face to face, and I know CMC isn't all face to face, but you can make it with that personal touch. And just like we talked about, doing so adds that personal value and quality between that employer and employee relationship. Going into the future, not only with this instance, but with everything, I feel like definitely a lot of thought needs to be put forward. And like we talked about, the Daika model is just so spot on with everything. For each point, from data, information, knowledge, action, just doing that, adding the constant cycle and making sure that that's in fact beneficial. And I feel without a doubt, there's no room but for improvement if the right implementations are done. Um, Thank you for joining in, and I hope you took out from this presentation. Have a good day.